For 2 years as a journalist, I've not had a single day where I woke up and was not happy to go to work.
As both a full-time journalist and a university student, Daniel Dotson has learned to balance the demands of reporting with his studies.
I am a newspaper reporter for Forsyth County News. My primary beat is government and growth and development. And so I spend a lot of time going to Board of Commissioners meetings in Forsyth County, City Council meetings in the City of Cumming, and I predominantly cover what they're discussing about policy and development throughout the county.
Before covering Forsyth County, Daniel had an early introduction to journalism through a passion for writing.
I've been a writer since I was a teenager, and I knew I wanted to find a way to write for a living. And so when I was thinking about what I could study in school, I thought, well, journalism sounds like a perfect mix. You know, I'd been a news junkie since I was probably 14, 15 years old, and so the two things seemed to complement each other, and I went to school to study journalism.
Now, as a working journalist, Daniel's days are constantly changing, but no matter where he is, some things remain the same.
Really, every day can be different. There's something the same with every day. It's conducting interviews, it's conducting research, it's writing articles for daily publication. I have typically between 1 and 3 articles published every day.
Oh, wow.
And everything outside of that can shift dramatically.
Throughout all the hard work and long hours, one passion keeps him going.
I love to write. What it all comes down to in the end is writing an article, having it published, seeing it in print, seeing it on the website. I think for anyone who's interested in print journalism, we all have this deep love of writing. And so while everything is fun, talking to people, meeting people, going to events, going to meetings, it all culminates at that point where you write an article, and being able to sit down and have all of my notes and information and distill that into an article that can communicate that information effectively. To me, every single time it's thrilling, and every single time it's fun.
But even with a passion for writing, there's one challenge that makes Daniel's job especially difficult.
One of the most difficult things to deal with as a government reporter is politics and politicians. There's a lot of diplomacy necessary to try and get the answers you want, but not have people mad at you, try and keep good and consistent and stable relationships, but at the same time not be afraid to push a button or needle somebody as necessary to get the kind of response, because we cover a lot of things, and a lot of times people might not want to necessarily address exactly what you're asking for. And so one of the things you really have to learn are soft skills.
Even when Daniel hits dead ends, there are still ways to uncover the truth.
I've run into situations where you don't quite get what you're after, but sometimes through public records, business licensing, and all that kind of stuff, you can still, even when people don't want to talk to you, you can find a way to verify information as well.
Gathering information, of course, has its challenges, but he says nothing compares to the difficulty of balancing his job and being a university student.
It's taken a lot of years to complete the degree, because for the entire time I've been studying journalism, I have been studying part-time and working full-time. So first I was working blue-collar jobs in cabinet warehouses and things, and by the time I got the journalism job, I was still working full-time and going to school part-time. And so I'm extraordinarily fortunate that my editor and my publisher have been very flexible with me, and basically they allow me 2 days a week. I'm at school, I'm on campus, and then I spend 4 days a week working 10, 12-hour days to make up for lost hours, and then Sundays, it's just to relax.
So like a me day.
Daniel has learned a lot by juggling his work and school. He has some words of advice for anyone who might be considering going into journalism.
I would tell anybody who's going into journalism, one, try and figure out what is it that really gets you going, and see if you can find an opportunity to find an area of coverage or a beat that will reflect the things that you love about the news, because that just makes it that much easier. And if you're not into government, or you don't think you are, and you end up with a government beat, I would just tell you, stick with it, dig deeper, because at some point, assuredly, you're going to become a government nerd.
From Zoey McCarty for GSU-TV in Atlanta.